Today's the big day. It's audio surgery day. And your response has been overwhelming. And so today's the big day. We're going to do the mods we've been talking about. And we've had a lot of really good feedback on choice of capacitors and things like that. So we're going to do some mods today. We're all prepped and ready. Our patient's good to go. Don't worry, we've never done, we've done this before. So, if you got some gear too, you got some Conrad Johnson or some audio research, go ahead and send it to me. We'll drill holes in anything. We're equal opportunity here. So it'll be fun. Okay, stay tuned. And coming up next, we'll start out with some capacitor removal. And then we'll be adding the new mods and making the changes. So don't go away. First, we've identified our points of desoldering on the back, and so we're going to just put a little bit of rosin on the solder joints here. I think that's going to be our best first step. I think we'll try this first one. I'm going to try a first capacitor coupling cap that's in the phono stage. I know somebody's going to say, man, I wouldn't let that guy iron my clothes, let alone touch my audio equipment with a soldering iron. Huh. All right. So maybe we'll try a little solder sucking here. See how this goes. There we go. There's our first one out. That's the one of the output coupling caps for the Phono stage. One down and 3 more to go, and then we'll work on the other coupling caps. All right, stay tuned. We have 4 of the output coupling caps removed. See those on the left? The 2 interstage or line stage coupling caps, the .27s, and then the 2 Phono stage coupling caps, the 0.56 removed. And now we're going to work on cleaning up the soldering connections, probably having to drill 1 hole for spacing, and soldering up our new coupling caps. Something I love is this little solder sucker. I don't know if you can see this, but I've gone through a lot of these crappy plastic ones, but this one's made in Japan, and things made out of it feels like it's made out of billet aluminum. It's really solid, and it has replaceable silicone tips. And the thing is just the bee's knees. It works really well. You get a Dremel with the right size bit on it, and then you can just drill out those holes really easily, and it cleans out the solder, and then you don't have to worry about overheating the pad. And I find it works really well. We're going to use the good old Dremel to just clean out these holes and open them up just a little bit. So we had a little problem. These capacitors that we got, and I measured them beforehand with some calipers, but they're right at about, here's the new ones we're going to replace, and here's the old rail caps. But these new Mundorfs are right at about 52 millimeters in length. And the pinholes are right at, or the holes for the soldering pads are right at about the same. So as you see, they just come a little close, and because of the diameter, they come a little close to that tube that I like. So tried to figure something out how to space these, because I really wanted to make the installation as clean as possible. So I did fabricate, we'll cut some of these little wood spacers, and I thought, at first, this might be a solution, is just put the caps on some little spacers that would elevate it off the board, and then give us just enough room to mount the cap, and that would work. And then, as I started thinking, gotta have a little coffee here. As the brain cells started waking up, I thought, well, maybe we don't need something quite that extreme. And so I think what we're going to do is use some of these little 3M zip tie holders And these have an adhesive backing, and these are going to elevate the cap just enough to where we can mount these guys and angle it just a little bit away from the tube. And it'll give it enough support, give it just enough support, and then we'll also zip tie it, and maybe just I don't like hot gluing caps, but just a dab of hot glue to those pads, and I think that'll be a good solution. That way the wire, the leads on the cap aren't squished in to the body of the cap, right? They can breathe a little bit. And on this one cap specifically, we can twist it just a little bit so it leaves some space for the mounting board hold and gives it a little bit of space away from the tube. And I think everything else will line up well. So I think we're going to try that. First, we're going to prep the board with some of these little alcohol prep pads. We're just going to clean this off, so if there's any grease or oil on here, we'll have a nice surface for these. We'll have a better surface anyways for these little risers, little 3M zip tie pads to stick to. Oh, did I unplug it? Just kidding. All right. Yeah, let's see. Okay, we got 2 down. I think those are spaced out okay. Let's do another one here. We're going to put this little guy right there, I think. And so what I like about this solution, hopefully this works out. You know, feel free to comment, you know, what you think. You can think, man, what is this guy doing? But, you know, one of my goals here too is to make, you know, let's say down the road, we're going to save all the old caps and everything. But down the road, let's say, you know, somebody wants to return this back to OEM. You know, this way, this is semi-permanent. You know, these would be pretty easy to remove. You know, it's nothing that a little alcohol and a little bit of prep work where you wouldn't be able to remove these and clean the sticky stuff off the circuit boards, and you never even know it was ever done, right? You could return the old original OEM caps right back in here and be fine, right? So we want to preserve that. I like the idea of being able to do that. If somebody down the road buys a preamp and they go, oh man, I gotta turn it right back to OEM, then, you know, it wouldn't be that hard to do. You're not super gluing, you know, wood blocks to the board or something like that. This is pretty easy. Okay, so there's 2 down. So let's see if we can get the other ones positioned in here. And I think, okay, well, yeah, I made a little mistake there. This one I had actually trimmed a little bit to go in a different place, and I didn't realize that when I grabbed it. But that's okay. We'll just have to trim another one. But we'll just keep going. Okay, so our other coupling cap is going to go in here. Well, they're pretty sticky. There's one right there. All right, there's another one. Put this right here. There we go. Nice. Okay, I'm going to take this one's going to go in. I'm not even sure if I really need one over here. It's pretty close to that resistor, but I think we needed a small one. Let's see. All right, look at that. Look at that. Hopefully we got our position here okay, but we got a couple caps mounted. I think that worked out pretty good. And you know, there we go. There's our 12FQ7. I think that's going to give us enough space for cooling. I mean, You know, of course I would like an extra 1/4 of an inch, but I think that's going to work out just fine. All right, so I think problem solved. We're going to go and start mounting these other ones, and we're going to warm up the soldering gun and get these guys in there. I think that looks really solid. Look at that. I think that worked out really, really good. Really, really well. We have 4 Mundorf Supreme coupling caps all mounted. We just have to solder them in. Lots of room for spacing. Spacing is great. You know, no wires mashed up against the edges of the body of the cap, you know, where they might create shorts or anything like that in the future. I think that I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a really good solution. And again, like I said, you know, it's reversible. It's reversible. If somebody decided down the road, you know, you're not modifying the chassis, you don't have these ginormous, you know, hockey puck caps that are obviously, you know, ad hoc mounted to the chassis. These are all in the factory locations, and I think this is going to work out real good. So now we just have to add the coupling caps, and we're going to replace those 2 little electrolytics with some nice little Similac 2s on the Phono stage. We're going to replace those. These have been discontinued. Did you hear about that? You better get some of these in your DIY pack while you can, because they've been discoed. So anyways, more to come. I think we'll warm up the soldering iron, and we'll solder these, and that'll make it final, and then we'll go on to the next steps. All right, welcome back. We're finally getting ready to solder these coupling caps, the output coupling caps in, and the Phono coupling caps. A couple setbacks, but we'll talk about that later. And I think this will be good. So here's the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's see what we can get done here. Alright. Trying to avoid any cold solder welds here. That looks good. And okay, here goes the other side. Sometimes I like to put a little bit extra solder right on the iron itself. There we go. I don't think that looks okay. All right, let's do this one. Looks pretty good. So far, so good. Well, this one back here has me a little worried. Looks pretty good. All right. Okay, so now we're going to do these other guys here, the phono caps, and we'll show you those after they're all in there. Let's just make sure that everything looks right. All right. We're using Cardus solder here, and it works pretty well. I like this stuff. It flows easy, low melting point. Sometimes I'll switch off capacitors, just let them cool a little bit so you don't overheat both ends of them, right? So it's good to do. This one's tight fit. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Flows right around it. We'll do this one. A lot of people watch this and they go, oh man, I don't know how to solder. You know, the thing to do is, you know, get an old clock radio, take it apart and just practice. That's the best thing to do. Practice on something that doesn't matter. There we go. This one's a little... There we go. Okay, now we're going to do these ones, this other side here. Could even be using a little finer tip soldering iron on this. Looks good. Looks real good. And we got one more here. I think that looks good. All right, so then after you have everything soldered in, double check all your connections. And then now we can start clipping these down, clipping these ends off. Sometimes I like to keep these. These are, you know, depending on the quality of capacitor, these are really nice, usually oxygen-free, pure copper. And you can use them for runners or cross connectors or something like that on a different project. So, you know, don't be too excited to throw them away. They wouldn't come in handy. All right. So we're removing these little tails that we don't need anymore since the caps are all soldered in. There we go. All right, let's flip this over and we'll take a look. Okay, so we have our 4 output coupling capacitors, and we've replaced this 100 microfarad 450 volt power supply cap and the two Phono electrolytics in the Phono section with some Similac 2s. Similac 2s is a real nice cap. And then the only thing that we have left to do are the two line stage coupling caps. We're kind of as far as we can go so far. So what I've done is you see here, these are the two coupling caps that go between the 12AU7 and the 12AX7. And there's the left and right channel, and they're different because I just have them sitting in here for kind of placement. But originally, I was really torn between going between the updated Quicksilver cap, which is a aluminum film and foil, is my understanding. And then we also have a Mundorf, which is a metallized polypropylene aluminum foil. And I really prefer, it's a metallized polypropylene aluminum foil, not a film and foil. Metallized polypropylene. Did I say that? I probably said the same thing over 3 times. Anyways, film and foil, not film and foil, all right? So I was really torn between the film and foil, which I tend to prefer, and the newer winding geometry of the Mundorf, right? But I think what we're going to do is I've ordered some Solon caps from Solon up in Canada, and they're a really nice tinfoil film and foil, and they have really nice specs and they sound great. And I think we're going to use those, but it's probably going to be about a week before they get here. So we're just going to probably stop where we are, but we are almost done. All we have to do is get the tin foil, the tin film and foil caps rather, for this 2 section, matching left and right, and solder those in there, and then we are completely done with our mods. And so, somebody will ask, well, hey, why are you modding this? Because these tube circuits really haven't changed a whole lot over time. And so what you have is you have some excellent components, excellent layout, and you can really gain a lot in audio quality from updating some of the components, right? So the electrolytics, some of those are like 30 plus years old. We've updated those. We've put in the Similac 2s, which are, have really nice smooth sound. Those should, contribute to really nice analog sound in the phono stage. We've updated the phono caps to a tin film and foil, which should be nice quality. And then the output caps are the Mundorf Supreme. I don't think those need any introduction. And they're about as nice of a cap as we can get in here. And I know there's going to be people that are saying, there's no, those are crap. You got to do like copper Dylans or Jupiter copper films, copper foils, but they're just not going to fit. There's no way, right? You're always dealing it when you're modifying existing gear. If you're building from scratch, great. You can put in, your Jupiter tinfoil caps the size of a soup can and go from there. But when you're dealing with existing spacing, there's going to be some compromise in these guys. So, the Mundorf Supremes should sound really, really nice. It should be a huge upgrade over the factory metallized polypropylene caps. And we're just, what we're hoping for is increased transparency, increased tonality, more texture in the mid-range and through the entire frequency spectrum, better bass, clear, more crystalline highs. And I think we're going to get all of that in my experience of doing this in previous circuits. So, and you're talking about, something that's really going to compete solid, up to, any preamp on the market, probably up to about 10K or competitive wise. So this should be like really huge. And like I said, it's an incredible circuit. And there's not a whole lot in the signal path, and this should be a really nice upgrade. So again, we're just going to wait for the Solons to come in, and hopefully that's a good choice. Generally in this section, a tin foil tends to sound better than aluminum foil. So we're gonna see, and I suppose we can, if we're not happy, we can swap them out. But I think it's gonna be a good choice. So we'll see how this goes. It should give it a nice, warm, transparent, detailed sound. All right, so stay tuned. I guess this is part 2. There's going to be a part 3. Part 3 will be installing those caps and then plugging this in and checking out, doing some sound checks. All right, so Subscribe, like and subscribe, and come back, and hopefully we'll have more good stuff for you. Thanks, and take care.